What's going on, everybody? We're here at Pro Play Games with Vincent Gillette, just off his top 8 at ARG Orlando. So, Vinny, what deck were you playing?
I was playing PePe Magicians.
That's cool. How was your rounds in Swiss?
I went 6-0, threw my last two, finished third in Swiss. So it's pretty good. I got to take, like 2.5 hours off while we waited for the rest of the rounds.
What were your matchups like?
Couple Cosmo, one Magician, and then the rest of the way was mirror matches.
Did you go into game 3s against anything certain, or? Yeah,
Cosmo. I went to game 3 versus one Cosmo and one mirror match, and that was it.
And how was top 16 for you?
So round 4 I get a deck check. It takes a really long time. They come back with a warning for a marked sleeve because my sleeve, one of the sleeves from my side deck was a similar color to the sleeve from my extra deck. During that process, they failed to notice that I did not write Odd Eyes Meteorburst Dragon on my deck list. So top 16, I get called up. They ask me, do I see Odd Eyes Meteorburst on my deck list? I say no, and I get a game loss for top 16, and I can't play Odd Eyes Meteorburst in my extra.
Wow. What did you play against in top 16?
Top 16, I played the Mirror. He was playing the Natura Beast Brilliant Fusion version. So, I would get to choose who goes first, but I lost game 1, so I have to choose anyways. Technically game 2, I let him go first. He opens the Natura Beast. I open Ghost Ogre, which is one of my 4 outs in the deck to Natura Beast. I go Upstart, he goes Natura Beast. Effect, I go Ghost Ogre, and then he quickly scoops it up. And game 3, I have Draco Plush and.
The pluses?
Yeah, it's Yu-Gi-Oh!
And so then you won that and you went to top 8. How did that go?
Top 8, I play versus Cosmo, who's maining Trap Tricks cards, and he's maining Bottomless, Time Space, Breakthrough Skill. Game 1, I make a risky play. He draws the 2 in hand. He has a pilot on board. He has 3 back row that he hasn't activated. I'm really worried once E-tailing, I'm below 4K. I don't Omega effects. He destroys my defense position monster, tags out for Dark Destroyer, destroys my Omega. I have a couple turns to draw Luster Pendulum to make an Ignister, it just doesn't happen. Game 2, I just control his back row by pitching Pendulum cards every turn with a hit, I win. Game 3, I open Dragon Pulse, Wisdom, Danko Sekka, Mystical Space Typhoon, Damage Juggler. I pass turn, he goes 6 cards of Pilot, summons it, sets 3. I go Danko, set my scales, Wisdom I effect, he chains, tags into Dark Destroyer, destroys my Danko Sekka. I leave my scales, pass turn. He goes, swings. I hold Damage Juggler because I know that he's siding Spell Shattering Arrow and he could have Farm Girl with E-Telly. I take 3K, I draw a Slide Blocker. I have another Pendulum card somewhere along this lines, I don't remember how. I think I drew it. But I go summon Slide Blocker, call Dark Destroyer, pitch the Pendulum card to pop his Dark Destroyer, Pendulum out, just Wisdom Eye, swing, he goes, he has Cosmo Town, he draws the 2, draws Dark Destroyer, shuffles it back, draws Farm Girl off of the 1, swings over Side Blocker, searches Dark Destroyer, I draw Luster Pendulum for turn. During last turn, he attempts to Spell Shatter me and I Damage Juggler, I just don't search. I go Banish Damage Juggler, get Trick Clown, summon Trick Clown, he bottomlesses it. He bottomlesses me game 1 and game 2, and double time spaces me. I go Wisdom Eye, attack into Farm Girl, he banishes, summons Dark Destroyer, destroys Wisdom Eye. I MST his back row, time space. He has 1 back row left. I declare Pendulum for 2, and I'm like, if that card's live, I lost. He's like, it's the same card you just destroyed, flips up a 2nd time space, and I lost.
Well, congratulations on your top 8 victory, regardless. So let's get into the deck profile.
Sure. So we'll start with the Magician engine. It's triple Wisdom Eye, it's you know, the engine of the deck. Double Wisdom Eye is the second best thing you can do besides Plush Fire Draco Slayer. It just gets the entire engine going. It's a high scale, so even if you just draw it by yourself, it's perfectly fine. Pro play games. Double Dragon Pulse. Level 4, 1 scale. There's not that many low scales in the deck, so these are super important. It pops monsters by pitching a pendulum card, so it's not super relevant, but it comes up all the time. Like side blocker and calling like a Cosmo card, like side blocker, it is really good. Along with it, it's Dragon Hit, who's the high scale. He pops spell cards. It's not that bad. 1 for 1ing is not actually good this format, but there's certain times when you have to do it. You know, the biggest issue is like when you're pitching a pendulum card, it just goes to the graveyard and you're not really getting it back unless it's a Perform Aid and you bring it back with Trick Clown and Synchro with it. So you're not always doing it. Most of the time you just want to be making synchros and like, you know, like your synchros answer your opponent's back rows, or at least force them to do their back rows, and then you just make another synchro next turn. But it's the only high scale you can play besides like Noble Dragon, and it allows you to pen out like more monsters. Like you can pen out like Partner Naga and just random stuff, but you just can't play more than this card. This card sucks. And you always want to play at least 2 of any level 4 scale that you played a combo at Luster Pendulum. I played Noble Dragon to make Odd Eyes Meteor Burst, which I made a lot during Swiss, but it got taken away extra for top 16, so this got started out every game for top 16 and top 8. The mirror match is like really, it's in a really weird spot right now, and just like max seed is super important. So sometimes when you get max seed, you're just gonna make Odd Eyes. You just go for it. Like, not very few people maining Ghost Ogre, and like you just set it up where you'll just like the only thing they can really Ghost Ogre is like Trapeze Magician. If they Ghost Ogre Trapeze Magician, you still float. The other monster still gets the double attack, and you're just gonna go. You're gonna still be able to win if you can go through the board. I can make Ignister with this and Partner Naga, but I still sided it out every game after top 16. The Perform Pal engine is triple Scroll Acrobats, such as the Magicians, such as all the Perform Pals, and Odd Eyes. I don't play that garbage. You know, like the Magicians are just way better than the Perform Pals for right now, because like all the Perform Pals, the low scales don't actually do anything compared to the Magicians. Like Wisdom Eyes like replaces itself in the extra while setting up your scales. This is like super important along with the next card, which is Partner Naga. With these 2 on the board, this goes up to 2400, so this can beat over Kieran. And like if you have any other pals on board, like it actually is like high enough to be able to like out certain boards. Like Kieran, Magicians is like, it's not like a great matchup for this deck, and just this being able to out the Kieran before you continue on your plays is super important. And then just being able to like out anything alongside this, and it can search it. The Perform Mage engine is triple damage juggler. It's like the most important card of the deck. It cancels out Wavering Eyes, cancels out all the mass spells and trap hate right now. Anti-spell, I mean, spell shattering, Fairy Wind, and Wavering Eyes. Like, you know, you just have to hold on to it. Searches the rest of the engine. Can search both the high and low scale, everything. Triple Plush Fire. If you're not playing if you don't know what this does and you're playing Yu-Gi-Oh right now, then
how good was this card for you during this tournament?
During Swiss, I might have opened Draco Plush a lot, maybe. I definitely opened Draco Plush and Max C quite a few times.
Wait, bro, you didn't tell me how broken this card is, though.
Okay, this card's absolutely insane. Like,
Alright, bro, that's all I want to hear.
It's literally the most broken card in the game. Like, there's no reason to play any other deck but this deck because of how broken this card is. Mirror Conductor, it goes along with the theory that any level 4 scale, you want to be playing at least 2 so you can combo with Luster Pendulum. A lot of people are playing Magical Springs, which makes this really important because you can't just search this when you have Draco Slayer if your opponent has back row, because if they Magical Springs, you actually just lose. It doesn't go away until your next turn, so you can't Pendulum for 2 turns. So just like going Luster Pendulum, popping this, searching another one, it gives you the advantage in your extra. The effect's super important. Like Ignister has 0 attacks, so like anything attacks over it. Like both of its effects are really good. You're gonna be using it a lot. 1 Trick Clown and 1 Hat Tricker. You can play 2 Trick Clown. The only thing is, the only things I want to be normal summoning for the most part are Scroll Acrobats, and then everything else is just like opening double of this card is not good. Like it's just something I want to search it and use it that turn, you know, like when I'm going for like a big exceed play. I don't want to have multiples in my hand. And then Hat Trigger is super important for being able to out Naturia Beast by making either, if it's just Naturia Beast, you can make like Feral Imps and just attack over it, or if it's like the Naturia Beast Pleiades field, it allows it to be easier to make it, and then you could just go into Carnivore and they can't do anything. You attack them Nap Beast, and you do your plays for main phase 2.
Did you ever want a second Trick Clown during the tournament?
No, not really. I don't. There would probably be kind of like 1 or 2 times, but every time I wanted a second Trick Clown, it's because I drew the first Trick Clown. And most of the time when I draw the first Trick Clown, all it does is save me some life points and then just sits in the graveyard. So, moving on. The rest is like all the utility stuff. Triple Draco Slayer, just this and Plush Fire is. If you resolve this and Plush Fire and you don't win, you suck. No, but like these cards are insane. Like it makes the best synchro in the game currently, if not ever. Its effect fuels the extra deck. Like every time it's a +1 because once your scales are set up, everything that's in your extra deck is just free monsters. So you just recycle it every time. Like you can make like just the fact that you can make like Ignister, all that stuff is insane. Like if there's any other way, like if it didn't have the restriction for Draco Slayers, it'd just be the most broken card in the game. But it's insane. Like, and it just gets better next format. Yeah, we're 1 week to a boss, and then it just like skyrockets in utility. The reptiles I played as Double Gigabyte and Mask Chameleon. Double Gigabyte's really important, as I said, for like outing Naturia Beast and all that stuff. Like, and it really just starts your combos going. Like Skrokabat, Gigabyte, Damage Juggler, Gigabyte. It just like it can set up your scales for like 1-for-1s and outs Naturia Beast, which, you know, with Hoban winning the last ARG, everybody would be on the mentality that Naturia Beast is the best way to go. So I just wanted to be able to beat Naturia Beast as much as possible. And then I made these two, the Hat Tricker, and then there's an additional card I made deck to be able to beat it. Mask Chameleons, so the big issue is that it's really hard to get a Lesser Pendulum into your extra deck without making Ignister first. So to answer that, we just, you know, and this has been being played forever, is that you just play Mask Chameleon, search for King of the Feral Imps, and then it also allows you to make really cool stuff like, you know, like Cypher Lord Omega, which is just insane once you have a Banished Damage Juggler. And then, so once the first Ignister goes and you just summon the Lesser Pendulum off with Ignister's effect, you're able to make Ignister like the following turn. So the first Ignister you make will clear the board, the second Ignister will go for game. So it's really neat, and then you can insta-fusion this back and make like your Cypher Omega. And then I made 3 hand traps. Double Max C, this is insanely important. You have to main Max C this format. It's gotten to the point where you can't side them or anything else. You have to main deck them. Everybody's special something a lot. It's insane. Like this is the only way that you have a relatively easy, like, you can't feel safe without Max C. But you know, that being said, that's why I decided to play Noble Dragon, so that if I get Maxi'd and I just don't have a stable hand where I can just pass, I can just push through and just game my opponent. The other hand trap was Ghost Ogre and Snow Rabbit. Naturia Beast received an errata that says it must remain face up on the field, and I don't think a lot of people knew or realized that. So I decided that instead of maining 3 Maxi's and just, because my opponent can just, if my opponent, you know, has like Brain Fusion, Instant Fusion, they go for the Naturia Pleiades Board, and the Gigabyte stuff, it doesn't stop it. So I decided to main this, like, if they take the challenge to Maxine, I draw in a Ghost Ogre, I just 1-for-1 the Naturia Beast right away, and then just... Every Naturia Beast play is a lot of cards committed, so they won't have a lot in their Pendulum's extra deck at all, so it's really hard for them to win after that.
Did that situation come up a lot during Swiss? Or?
Yeah, I played versus 3 of the Naturia Beast versions in Swiss, and my top 16 match was the Naturia Beast version. I let him go first, knowing I have a lot of outs to the Naturia Beast board, and he goes turn 1 Naturia Beast. He has nothing. The only thing he has is extra is 1 Dragon Pulse. I activate Upstart Goblin. He Naturia Beast negates. I make him pay cost, and I go Sturger it. And I put up scales, and he scooped up his cards, and we went to game 3. Like, and then this card just gets even better next format too. Like this is probably like this combination of cards is the most important for the hand traps moving into the next format. And then that's it for monsters in the main deck. Spells is triple Wavering Eyes. Card's unfair. Like
Yeah, just bonkers.
yeah, like I didn't get any like really crazy Wavering Eyes game. Oh, I didn't sign out Wavering Eyes at all. Nobody asked me, and ARG had like this rule where like you weren't supposed to ask. So I didn't sign it out at all. I kept it in versus all my matchups. I didn't draw it often. The only matchup I did draw multiples of was I bricked with double Wavering Eyes, set both, passed turn to my opponent. I'm like, I really hope he's playing a Pendulum matchup, and he was playing Cosmos and OTK'd me for game 1. That was the only one of the few times I had to get a game break.
So no crazy Wavering Eyes for 4?
No crazy Wavering Eyes for 4. Like none of that. Like you know, like, but you just play around this card. You always have to keep Damage Juggler in hand and stuff like that. I mean, I've had to like Wavering Eyes my own cards a couple of times, but for the most part, like, I actually didn't see this card that often this weekend. I'm mostly seeing Draco Plush, which can't complain. But like,
exactly.
Like, this card's super important. It's, you know, it's not as important next format going in.
Blair's name is Blair the MILF Hunter. That guy's a savage, dude.
That's the new champ, dude. So,
oh yeah, he's beating me.
Oh yeah. But yeah, this card is it's bonkers. Like, it's probably not gonna get hit, but it really should.
20 minutes is an autobiography, bro.
Yeah, it's long.
You actually can't even post this.
Why not?
You can't post more than 15 minutes.
On YouTube?
Oh,
yes, you can.
Not on new accounts.
Like, just don't make it past 20.
Yeah, we'll just cut it. Double Upstart Goblin. It was originally triple Upstart Goblin, but I put in the Noble Dragon. I couldn't find a card I really wanted to cut, and I just play Upstart. If I find 37 really good cards, I play 3 Upstarts. If I find 38 really good cards, I play 2 Upstarts. I definitely 100% probably could have cut a card, but I couldn't figure out in time because I put Noble Dragon in 5 minutes before the tournament started, which is why I forgot to write Meteor Burst. Double Pendulum's Call. I don't like this card at all, but it's like the best card you want to draw turn 2. Like, you make a play, if your opponent answers the play, this is the best card you want to draw turn 2, and if you don't, you just do this and you just have more resources to go along with it. Because I'm not playing the Destroy Beast combo, it's not as needed, and I was able to side it out a lot. But just being able to like add monsters to your hand by pitching a card, and if you ever pitch like Trick Clown or Damage Juggler, you know, you're gonna win. Next to is the Instant Fusion. This card is just insane for the, like, it's just insane. You can make it, it's a free rank for if you max chameleons in the graveyard. You can make Sight Frame Omega, just everything about it. It's really easy to bait out back row. You know, like, you will make Diamond Dyers and stuff like this all the time. And it's just like an insane recovery card. And then the last card I main deck was Foolish Barrow. Being able to banish Damage Juggler to get either your scales, whether it's Plush Fire for like Draco Plush or just the set scales, is really important. I'm not playing Brilliant Fusion, so I just definitely want to see it as much as possible. So this definitely helped out a lot. How much time do I have?
18:30.
Just pause it if you want.